From day one, we're told that our traits are fixed from birth. We get half from our mother, half from our father, and a couple of mutations thrown in here and there. And that's what we're stuck with, forever. Well, actually, that's wrong. Imagine your DNA as a dynamic instruction manual. On every page, or gene, it has instructions for a single trait. But you can't just make that trait appear out of thin air. You need something to read the instructions and build them, hence epigenetics. You are born with a certain number of traits turned on and others turned off, which means they are read from your DNA manual and built into you. But that doesn't mean they stay like that forever. In 1944, German occupation and railway strikes resulted in the Dutch famine. Some 4.3 million people were forced to near starvation, and the death toll stood at 20,000 by 1945. During the time, scientists had begun wondering whether maternal malnutrition would affect the baby, beyond the fixed traits it had been given. To test this, they created the Dutch Famine birth cohort study. The mothers of the babies had an average daily ration of less than 1,000 calories a day. That's about 6 slices of bread per day for a group that should be eating 2 times the amount of a regular person. The original embryos may have carried the DNA for healthy bodies, but the study found that the babies developed in these conditions were 3 times as likely to have an earlier onset of coronary heart disease, glucose intolerance, and disturbed blood coagulation. They had reduced cognitive abilities, increased symptoms of depression and anxiety, and most developed weight problems and/or obesity later in life. And when they studied the DNA of this cohort compared to unexposed siblings, they found increased levels of DNA methylation. Small methyl groups had attached to the DNA manuals, putting big no production signs over genes controlling traits such as growth and mental patterns, silencing the traits from being properly produced. And methylation doesn't just occur in restriction. In bee larvae, sterile worker bees are differentiated from queen bees purely on diet. All larvae contain the necessary genetic code to become a queen, but the majority are fed with bee bread, triggering DNA methylation patterns that turn part of their DNA on and off and give them no hope of becoming a queen. And DNA methylation has also been proven to have protective effects against cancer. Nutrients with epigenetically active ingredients, such as folic acid and vitamin B12, can methylate cancer genes and increase tumor suppressor expressions. And it's not just diet. In a normal environment, stress is a healthy physiological response designed to maintain survival. But given enough chronic stress, your body can change genetically and stay that way your whole lifetime, and potentially even imprint on your children as well. A study showed that living in a neighborhood with socioeconomic disadvantages led the DNA methylation of immune cells. Another study found that early childhood trauma led to genetic alterations of the amygdala, a region of your brain responsible for processing emotions, survival instincts, memories, and social behavior. So how can you control this? How can you control your own genome through simple daily habits? Let's imagine you have a twin. From birth, you are genetically identical. But then, let's say you choose to eat a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, meats, and healthy fats, all containing bioactive compounds that can act as methyl donors. Your twin has a diet deficient in these nutrients. Then exercise. Let's say you exercise regularly, genetically modifying your skeletal muscle, metabolic function, and inflammation. Your twin doesn't exercise. And stress. Let's say your twin gets stressed out easily, getting stuck in situations that leave them irritated, angry, or addicted. However, you use mindfulness and meditation to help manage stress, regulating your methylation patterns. You also get adequate sleep and rest. As you both grow up, your twin develops cancer, nutritional diseases, stunted growth, and depression. However, despite being genetically identical, you grow up with a healthy genome where everything that should be switched on and off is. You grow as tall as your parents, have minimal diseases, and live a happy life. This isn't fantasy, it's genetics, science. So make that change. Do that run, take that rest, de-stress your life. Because with the power of epigenetics, you may just be able to change your future.